Welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast. I'm Ani Anderson.
And I'm Brian Trzaskos. Join us as we explore the science
and art of trauma-sensitive somatic practices and tools.
Strengthen your practice as a coach, therapist, or holistic professional.
Master the art of motivating even the most challenging clients when you understand how to tap into and unlock your client's complete holistic intelligence.
If you want to learn the most cutting-edge, research-supported skills for personal and professional mastery, you've come to the right place. Let's get this conversation started. Hi, and welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast. Here we are for episode 134. Hi, Ani.
Hey, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
You ready to kick it today?
Kick it. Let's do it.
Ready to get on the road?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Because here we are today talking about your manifestation roadmap.
So if you haven't heard, Brian and I are co-authoring Manifestation for Dummies with Wiley Press. And it's coming out in just a few months, but you can pre-order your book now at your favorite retailer. But make sure that when you do that, go to our website, because when you order the book and you tell us that you pre-ordered, you're going to get some special bonuses. So make sure you get your special bonus material. So go to our website and you can click through and pre-order.
Yeah, I think you need to like save your receipt kind of thing, right? Purchase, yeah.
Yep. So all that info is on our website. Yeah, so we consider ourselves now that we know a little thing or two about how to manifest stuff, because we wrote the book.
Yeah, we wrote a book about it. And so one of the things that acts as kind of a feature of the book is a roadmap of how to manifest.
And this was really important to us because when the idea sparked about this book, the idea was, oh my gosh, the process of manifestation, there's a roadmap, but usually when people talk about manifestation, I've read so many manifestation books, they're not very practical. Like I get done with the book and I think, but how do you do it? And so we wanted to write a book where at the end of the book, people would not be asking that question. They would know how is in the book.
It's in the book. Yeah,
So-
it's actually in the first part of the book.
It is.
So it's like, get right into it.
And then the other parts, there's a part on health, there's a part on relationships, there's a part on wealth. And in each of those parts on health, wealth, and relationships, we tell you to, go back, look at the roadmap, and then here's all the other nuances around that topic.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So today we're talking about that manifestation roadmap.
Yeah, so this is your roadmap. All right, so the very first thing you need to be able to do on your roadmap to manifesting something that you consciously want, because remember, let's face it, you're manifesting your life right now anyway, and you may be manifesting it unconsciously, and you may be manifesting things that you don't want unconsciously. So most of the time when people think about the whole idea of manifestation, what comes into their awareness is that they want to be able to create something new that they actually want.
And most people start talking about manifestation by talking about what you want, but we actually start by asking you to uncover your limiting beliefs because you're already manifesting now. So I love that orientation because just like you said, rather than thinking about manifestation as something that you're not doing already and you don't know how to do and you've never done before, we're saying you're already manifesting. So start where you're at.
You already know how to manifest because you're already doing it.
You're doing it. Congratulations.
The real question is why are you manifesting what it is that you're manifesting?
Right. So we start with that idea of uncovering limiting beliefs. And I love doing this with people because first of all, it shakes people up a little bit because they think, ooh, goody, I'm just going to get out my journal and think about all the things that I want first. And we're like, hang on a second. Step one first, and it's such a huge pivotal step when we work through this process with people because they can actually start manifesting better right away because the first thing we talk about is the beliefs that you're thinking now to get what you want now, rather than talking about what you want in the future first.
Correct. Yeah. Because you really need to be able to prove to yourself that your beliefs do create what you create. They're a part of that manifestation process. And in the book, for each one of these steps, we're going to walk you through. We have exercises in the book to help you work through each one of these things. Obviously, on the podcast, we don't have the time or inclination or anything to be able to walk you through all those steps. Just let you know, those things are in the book. But if you're going to ask yourself kind of like one question around, well, geez, how do I uncover my limiting beliefs? Like just a really good question that I like to ask is, what belief do you need to have to get the result that you're currently getting? What belief would you need to have to get the result that you're currently getting?
Yep.
Right. So, in other words, if you don't have as much money in your paycheck as you would like every week, or what's that little saying, like the end of the month comes before the end of the money, you like run out of money before the end of the
That's
month, sort of
You've
thing.
never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Then, if that's happening, well, what belief would you need to have in order for that to keep happening? You have to uncover that limiting belief to understand where you're already at. So that's just a basic kind of prompt to do that.
Yep, that's step one.
Yeah. Okay. So step two is, I'll let you kick this one off, Ani.
Oh, thank you. Discovering your purpose state. So we do lots of different things here with helping you discover your purpose state, and we make a really simple in the book, really simple practical exercises to help you to do this. And part of the purpose with this is, again, you're already manifesting. And so when you get clear about what you're already manifesting in your life, what you might discover is that you're manifesting more of the challenge of your purpose state rather than what you would like to see as more of the light aspects of your purpose state. So when you get into your purpose state, there's so much that you can start to do to infuse the rest of the roadmap because it can inform how you're thinking about what you want, the directions, the actions that you take, but it also gets in with one of the biggest lessons of this book of Manifestation for Dummies, which is your frequency really, really matters. So when you start to ideate from the frequency of your purpose state, then so much creativity and amazingness opens up in your life.
Yes, yeah, because to a point that you talk about a lot, Ani, in your book, Find Your Soul's Agenda, is that your purpose has two sides,
Mhm.
right? It has two sides. And you
Yep.
have to figure out, hey, which side of that am I actually focusing on and manifesting from?
Right, because a lot of people are manifesting from an undesired side of their purpose state,
Yeah,
from the challenge side of their purpose state, and they just can't figure out like how to get out of the challenge. But we'll tell you, we'll help you figure that
help you
out.
do that. Okay, so the next step, once you have uncovered your limiting beliefs, once you have discovered your purpose state, the next thing is to create authentic intentions or an authentic intention. Now, we've done past podcasts on this exactly. I don't have at my fingertips
What
the
number?
episode, but I know it's in the recent past. So and I think it probably says creating authentic intentions or something. So you can actually go right back to that podcast, and there's the roadmap of exactly how to do that in that podcast.
Yep. So sometimes when we're talking about manifestation, people talk about goals and what you want. And a lot of times when people talk about intentions, they're not talking about things that have action attached to them. They're just kind of talking about wishes and hopes. The other podcast will tell you more, but the way that we categorize intentions and the difference between goals and intentions as we think about them is intentions help to bake in this idea that you are co-collaborating with the universe. And so it does help to get that clarity around what you want for sure. Also helps to bake in this co-collaboration with the universe, which we start to put in place with really two ingredients. One is our purpose state, and the other is this idea of positive reciprocity, which is, I think, Brian, one of the main missing ingredients in a lot of
Yeah.
previous manifestation manuals because we are always co-collaborating with the universe, but when we don't bake in positive reciprocity into our intentions, we are missing the co-collaborative part. And I think it's a lot of the reason why people have not been able to get their manifestation juices going.
Yeah, exactly. So true, so true. Great, and it's a great point. Okay, so the next step, well, this is really cool. Once a person has uncovered their limiting beliefs, discovered their purpose state, created and set some authentic intentions, the next thing that happens is opportunities present themselves. And we call these enlightened opportunities. And the question is, are you able to identify them?
One of the reasons I love this so much in Manifestation for Dummies is, well, number one, this is one of the main reasons why after reading a manifestation book, I close the book and I say, I don't know how, because they didn't really talk about how to identify opportunities. Like, what's it gonna look like? What's it gonna smell like? What's it gonna like? How will I know when it walks in the room? And we talk about that, but we talk about it so much because we take this like how to generally talk about, or I'm sorry, recognize enlightened opportunities. But then in the health section, we talk about health opportunities. In the relationship section, we talk about relationship opportunities. In the wealth section, we talk about wealth opportunities. And you start to see it through each of these lenses, and then you'll really be able to identify it more for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And there might be past podcasts we've done also on the opportunities piece
Well,
as well.
there's actually a bunch, and bless you, some of them are kind of older,
Yeah,
because I remember it being a while ago,
yeah,
a while ago. But there's some older podcasts too on recognizing opportunities.
yeah, exactly. And there are certain features of opportunities. And again, they're listed in the book,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is creating empowered beliefs. And this is at this point in kind of in the steps, they can kind of get juxtaposed a little bit. I just want to let you know it's not always like it's got to exactly happen in this order because sometimes we create an empowered belief as the next step. But we also might end up doing what we call an aligned action as the next step. So either of these can kind of happen in whatever order they are. Because if you can identify an opportunity, then you're going to have to decide what kind of action you're going to take
Exactly.
based on that opportunity.
Exactly. And it makes sense actually that it's not exactly sure where that creating the empowered belief comes, because it has to do with
Hmm?
awareness.
Yeah.
And when is awareness going to open up enough that you're aware of it? So we start to make you aware of it in the roadmap now so that you can actually start to become aware of it as you're taking action, because as you're taking action, that's really when the belief is going to come up. But we have to talk about it before you get into the action.
Right. Yeah.
Does that
So
make sense?
exactly, because sometimes the empowered belief itself helps you take the action, and sometimes you create an empowered belief after you take the
And
action.
and that's more likely how it goes. And that's a misnomer with how a lot of people think about manifestation, because a lot of people think I have to create a new belief and then whatever's going to come to me. And I mean, a lot of times I think people think that's where the process starts,
Mhm.
is first I'm going to create a new empowered belief.
Right. We're going to jump over all the other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, no. Yeah, so getting into action helps to open up the awareness, so then you actually know what the belief is, because until you get into action, most of the time you're just guessing. But you really know once you start to take action.
Yeah. And so the next kind of step also can kind of get mixed in with the empowered belief, with the taking action. And this one is navigating the subconscious resistance that comes will inevitably come up as a part of the process. We've done multiple podcasts on this in the past around navigating subconscious resistance. And we've talked about this so much in the book. And this is really a cornerstone of the work that we do with our sensation-based motivation coaching methodology, is really to help people masterfully navigate the resistance that comes up in their subconscious to the change and therefore the manifestation.
So I think when it comes to manifestation, there's two things really. There's knowing the roadmap, and there's knowing how to navigate resistance to change, which is a part of the roadmap. But when you know the roadmap and you get really good and you develop mastery around navigating resistance to change, then you can just keep on manifesting and manifesting and manifesting.
Yeah, this is the place that really the rubber meets the road for a lot of people.
And they
Everything
get
up to this point is kind of nice. Oh, I figured out my unconscious, my limiting belief. I've got my purpose state. I've set some intentions. Oh, wow, there's an opportunity. I'm going to step into it. And then, bam, you hit the resistance. And the question is then, am I going to keep moving through the resistance or am I going to stop because of the resistance?
Mhm.
Right. So this is a big kind of important part of like in kind of Taoist practices and a lot of meditative alchemy practices, they talk about like the mysterious pass. Like this
This
is the
is the
mysterious
one.
pass. Like this is
The eye
the
of the
eye
needle.
of the needle, and is navigating the resistance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And we tell you how to do it.
Yeah. And the processes are right in the book.
And I think for us, this is really important that this work in Manifestation for Dummies is an evolution of we're standing on the shoulders of giants who have come before us in terms of manifestation work. And the evolution really is in this idea of being able to navigate the resistance to change. At this point in the manifestation process, it's not just on the universe for us to be like, all right, universe,
Mhm.
go ahead, do it. Like it's still a co-collaboration.
Yeah. All right. So once you've taken those aligned actions, you've navigated that resistance, what's going to happen then is you're going to start to see evidence of your new actions. So you have to be able to collect evidence. You have to have certain ways to actually to collect and document the evidence of something is changing, like different things are happening. If you can't see that something's changing, then you'll give up on the process. So you have to have a way to collect it. We call it driftwood. It's kind of like you can think about the early English explorers or European explorers who are traveling to a new land and maybe had been at sea for months. And when they started seeing wood floating in the water, they're like, "Oh, they must be close to land. Can't see it yet, but you must be close." And that's the kind of the idea of using this driftwood analogy.
And then the last step is claiming your change, and it's not optional. Because if you get all the way through this, you have one more thing to do, and it's so important. Claiming your change. I can remember for myself as I've helped people manifest things over the year, they can get all the way through all of this stuff, Brian, and it's like chutes and ladders.
Right to the end, right? You're
Chutes
like
and ladders.
almost at the
You
end.
know the chute that's like right up at the top,
Yeah, and
where
it's
you
like
almost
really
think you're done, and it's all the way back down to the beginning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we just went down the big slide.
Yeah. So you have to be able to claim that change, and that does something specific for the nervous system and to basically substantiate and formalize the new belief in your nervous system. So if you miss that step, you can just slide all the way back
Yeah.
to the beginning,
And
right?
that, my friends, is the manifestation roadmap.
That's the roadmap.
Yeah, so you're going to get that in Manifestation for Dummies, and we're also doing events, so you can come do that work with us. We love to help you to get into the process of your manifestation and really help you along because I think it's like taking a trip,
Yeah.
you
So
know?
if you want to do this work, we're going to give you a date to save on your calendar right now. If you want to do this work with us in person and help us walk you through the roadmap and personalize your roadmap just for you, we are so excited, super honored to be going back to the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health for embodied manifestation from November 15th through the 18th. So save,
2026.
2026. So save the date on that one and come to the website and you can look a little bit more about what we're going to be doing in that class and then click through and get yourself registered to join us at Kripalu in November, where we're going to be doing, activating the body, mind, science behind manifestation. We're going to be talking about identifying those subconscious patterns. We're going to help you personalize your roadmap, help you create those really powerful intentions. We're tapping into those natural laws. We're doing all kinds of somatic practices with you to help embody these changes for yourself. We're going to talk about the pitfalls on the way to your manifestation project. Oh my God, we're so excited.
Well, and Brian's forgetting some of the best parts. You come stay at the beautiful Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health. You get taken care of. You get fed some of the most amazing food that do your dishes for you. We have laughter and camaraderie and community, a place where you feel like you belong, and you get to talk to people who get you.
That are
And
doing the same work
we're
you're
doing the
doing in
same
the
work you're
world,
doing.
right? So it's an amazing community of people.
Yeah, and you get to have this fun, amazing osmosis thing that happens when you come do the work with us live and in person. And it is really like osmosis. You just get to be there and soak in the change and the transformation just because you decided to get yourself there. So put the date on your calendar now, the 15th through 18th of November 2026. And we can't wait to help you activate your embodied manifestation roadmap.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Super excited.
We'll see you there. And make sure you bring a copy of your Manifestation for Dummies book that you pre-order soon. All right.
And we'll sign it for you.
That's right. All right. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week.
Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope that this conversation will help you improve your practice and change the way you think about your work, your clients, and yourself.
Continue your exploration of trauma-sensitive somatic coaching by listening to more podcast episodes at somaticcoachingacademy.com. you could be the trusted guide that people turn to help them with their most challenging situations and to reach their most precious goals. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.